Imagine this, a single penny, a simple, copper-colored coin, hiding in plain sight. You pick it up, you toss it into a jar, never thinking twice. But what if that penny, just one 2006 Mint Mark Lincoln cent, wasn't ordinary at all? What if it was worth $1.6 million? That's not a typo. 1.6 million for a single cent, a coin minted in the millions, suddenly worth more than a luxury home. But in the world of rare coins, the impossible happens more often than you'd believe. Tonight, we're diving deep into a story that's as mysterious as it is true. A story that could change how you see every penny you've ever touched. Let's rewind to 2006. The U.S. Mint in Denver was producing billions of Lincoln cents, each stamped with that tiny D mint mark. Most were flawless, machine-perfect, and destined to jingle in pockets, roll through cash registers, and vanish into circulation. But somewhere among those billions, something went very, very wrong. Or, depending on how you look at it, very right. Rumors began to surface years later, collectors whispering about an error so rare it bordered on myth. A coin struck on the wrong metal. A penny made not of zinc, but of solid copper. An accidental throwback to the pre-1982 days when pennies carried real weight and value. How could such a thing happen in 2006, decades after copper was replaced? That question alone sent the coin world into a frenzy. A collector sifting through rolls of pennies, the light glinting just a little differently off one coin. It feels heavier in his hand, warmer in color. He weighs it, and his heart skips. It reads 3.11 grams, not the 2.5 grams of modern zinc pennies. That was the first clue. And then, under magnification, the unmistakable D Mint mark. A Denver Mint copper penny from 2006. For coin experts, that discovery was like finding a time traveler, something that shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. And that's why the 2006 D copper penny, under the right conditions, is now valued up to $1.6 million. Now, before you start tearing through your change jar, let's take a breath. Not every 2006 D penny is rare, but there are signs, clear and visible, that can tell you if you've got something extraordinary. Hold your penny to the light. Look closely at the color. Copper has a deeper, reddish-brown tone, unlike the pale orange or silver-tinted surface of zinc. Next, feel the weight. If you have a small digital scale, this is where magic meets measurement. A regular 2006 D zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. But if yours tips the scale at around 3.1 grams, stop everything. You may be holding a copper strike. Take another look, this time at the edges. Copper coins have smooth, even rims with a solid texture. Zinc pennies, especially older ones, often show signs of bubbling or corrosion under the plating. Every detail matters. And then, the sound test. It might sound old-fashioned, but when you drop a copper penny onto a table, it rings with a sharper, higher note than zinc, which lands with a dull thud. It's a tiny difference, but to trained ears, it's unmistakable. Why now? Your pulse might be racing. That's normal, because this isn't just about metal or minting errors. It's about possibility, about the idea that fortune hides in the ordinary, that the same coins you overlook every day could hold secrets worth millions. Now imagine the journey of that 2006 D copper penny, minted by accident, unnoticed by thousands of hands, traveling from register to register, pocket to pocket. Maybe it was dropped, lost, found again. Maybe it sat in a desk drawer for decades. Until one person, just like you, noticed something different. Let's reset for a moment. Think about how many pennies you've handled in your life. Hundreds? Thousands? Maybe millions? Every single one of them could be a clue, a story, a mystery waiting to be uncovered. That's what makes coin collecting more than a hobby. It's a hunt for hidden history. Now, let's get technical for a second, because knowledge is power. The 2006 D Mint mark means your penny came from the Denver Mint, one of the most precise facilities in the world. For an error like this to occur, a leftover copper planchet, an unstruck coin blank from pre-1982 stock, would have had to somehow slip into the minting press. That shouldn't have been possible. Yet, it happened. That one anomaly has made this coin legendary. Only a few examples are rumored to exist, and fewer still have ever been authenticated. One was allegedly discovered by a collector in Colorado, another reportedly found in a bankroll from Kansas. Both coins, according to numismatic insiders, were later valued at over $1 million each. Let's reset again. You might be sitting there thinking, could I really have one? The truth is, you could, because these coins didn't end up in museums. They circulated, they moved, they vanished into everyday life. And that means your next trip to the store, your next handful of change, could be the moment that changes everything. Here's what you should do if you think you found one. First, never clean it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Store it carefully, maybe in a small plastic coin holder or even a clean envelope. Next, get it weighed on a precise scale, ideally one that measures to the hundredth of a gram. If it reads around 3.1 grams, that's your first green light. Then, contact a trusted coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. These are the top authorities for authenticating and valuing rare coins. They'll confirm what you have, grade it, and possibly list it for auction. Because if it's real, you're not just holding a penny. You're holding a piece of American minting history worth a fortune. Now, think about this for a moment. A coin you might have dismissed, tossed aside without a thought, could be the key to your financial freedom. How many of life's opportunities do we overlook the same way? That's the emotional truth hidden in every rare coin story. The treasures aren't always buried. They're right in front of us. Collectors know this feeling. That rush when you flip a coin and spot something off. A small doubling in the lettering, a shifted mint mark, a tiny weight difference. It's not just about money. It's the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, the reminder that miracles can hide in the most ordinary places. That you're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a pile of pennies. The light catches one just right. It looks different. You hold it closer. The color's deeper. The surface smoother. You place it on the scale, 3.1 grams. Your breath catches. That's when it hits you. You could be holding the 2006 D copper penny. Somewhere out there, someone has it and doesn't even know. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's in your home right now. And here's what makes this story so powerful. It's real. Verified by experts. Backed by weight, metal composition, and history. The 2006 D copper penny shouldn't exist, but it does. It slipped through time and logic to become one of the most valuable modern errors ever struck. In a world chasing digital dreams and virtual wealth, there's something poetic about a single penny reminding us of tangible value. A coin that defied the odds, slipped past precision, and ended up holding the power to change a life. So tonight, before you go to bed, take a moment. Open that jar of loose change. Pour it out. Look closer. Because sometimes, fortune doesn't shout, it whispers. Sometimes, it hides under years of dust, waiting for the right eyes to notice. Imagine this, a single penny, worth just 1 cent, hiding quietly in a jar, a pocket, or a drawer. But this one, this exact coin, could be worth $1.7 million. It's not a dream, it's not a myth. It's a real story buried beneath the surface of American change. And it begins with an ordinary-looking 1997 D. Lincoln penny. For decades, people have handled this coin without a second thought. Tossed it into vending machines, dropped it in parking lots, passed it along as pocket change. But the few who knew its secret, they didn't just find a penny. They discovered a life-changing fortune hiding in plain sight. The mystery of the 1997 D penny begins deep inside the Denver Mint. In 1997, billions of Lincoln cents were struck. Most were common copper-plated zinc coins, bright, shiny, and completely ordinary. But among them, somewhere in that flood of metallic red, a tiny handful came out different, imperfect, mysterious, and breathtakingly valuable. Somewhere between the minting presses and the inspection lines, a rare die error, a subtle, almost invisible flaw, transformed a few of these coins into million-dollar treasures. Collectors call them off-metal strikes, double dies, or broad strikes. But this one, the rarest of them all, is the 1997 D off-metal penny, accidentally struck on a copper planchet, a throwback to the pre-1982 composition, when pennies were 95% copper instead of zinc. Pause for a moment and think about that. You could be holding a coin that looks like every other 1997 penny, but inside, it's pure copper and worth over $1 million. Here's where the story turns from mystery to revelation. The key is weight. A normal 1997 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams. But the rare copper version, the one that could make you a millionaire, weighs closer to 3.1 grams. All you need is a simple digital scale, the kind you can buy online for a few dollars. Put your penny on it. Watch the numbers. If it reads around 3.1, stop. Don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't even touch it with your fingers. You may have just discovered your ticket to a fortune, but there's more. Some of these 1997 D errors show a faint doubling in Lincoln's date or the words, "In God We Trust." Under magnification, the letters may appear thick, shadowed, or slightly offset. This is called a double die, and it's another sign you're holding something extraordinary. It's the kind of mistake the mint never meant to happen, and that's exactly why it's priceless. Your hands shaking, your heart racing, realizing that this tiny coin could change your life forever. 1 penny, 1 cent, suddenly worth $1.7 million. The truth is, sometimes perfection isn't perfect. The Denver Mint, in 1997, was producing hundreds of coins per second. A single misfeed, a mixed planchet, a momentary lapse in calibration. That's all it takes for a rare treasure to slip into circulation. And once it does, it's gone. It could end up in a handful of change at a gas station. It could sit in an old coffee can for years. Or it could be sitting, right now, inside your home. Every coin tells a story, and this one tells a story of chance, fate, and the kind of luck that could rewrite your future. Collectors who found similar rare errors know the rush. The disbelief. The moment you realize something so small could mean so much. These coins aren't just metal. They're history, frozen in time, carrying the weight of the moment they slipped past the mint's eye and into the world. If you're watching this, you probably have a few pennies lying around. Maybe in a drawer, maybe in a jar labeled spare change. But after today, you'll never look at them the same way again. Because one of them, maybe just one, could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement savings. So here's what you need to do. Gather every 1997 D penny you can find. Check for that mint mark D just below the date. That's Denver. Then weigh them carefully. If it's heavier, about 3.1 grams, don't ignore it. That single detail could be your gateway to a $1 million discovery. Even if you find one that looks strange, maybe off-center, maybe struck through, maybe unusually bright or dark, set it aside. Many valuable coins are worth tens of thousands even without being the $1 million copper strike. Now, let's reset for a moment. Imagine hearing that someone in your town found a 1997 D penny and sold it for a fortune. How would that make you feel, knowing it could have been you? That feeling, that what if, is what drives true collectors. It's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the history, the heartbeat that comes with every discovery. Most people will never look. They'll keep ignoring their pennies, letting treasures slip through their hands every single day. Don't be that person. The next time you find a 1997 D penny, pick it up like it could be your miracle, because it just might be. There's something beautiful about that idea, that a symbol of everyday value, a single cent, can hold the power to change a life. It's poetic, it's humbling, and it's real. The 1997 D Lincoln penny, simple, common, overlooked, is now one of the most whispered about coins in the collecting world. Not because of what it is, but because of what it represents: possibility, hope, the chance that something ordinary can become extraordinary, without warning, without reason, without permission. Imagine the story you'd tell if you found it. Imagine walking into an auction house, setting down a tiny copper coin, and watching the room fall silent. The bidding begins. Numbers climb. Voices rise. And then, with one final call, the hammer drops. You've just sold a penny for over $1 million. All from something that sat in your pocket, forgotten, for years. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, take a second look. When you pour that jar of pennies onto the table, let your heart race a little. Because out there, in the mix of copper and zinc, in the hum of everyday life, there's a coin that holds your story, the 1997 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, struck with a secret, worth up to $1.7 million. This isn't just another collector's tale. It's a reminder that life hides its miracles in the smallest places, and only those who look closely ever find them. Imagine this: a single penny, a simple, copper-colored coin that most people would walk right past, quietly sitting in someone's change jar, and it's worth $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that could have bought a stick of gum back in the day, now worth more than a mansion. But the question is, how do you know if you're holding one? Because thousands of people have had this rare treasure pass right through their hands, and they never even knew it all began in 1969, a year of change, of chaos, of history. The moon landing, Woodstock, and hidden in the mix, something extraordinary happened at the Denver Mint. A tiny, almost invisible mistake, a doubling so precise, so rare, it turned an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar legend. They call it the 1969 D-double die Lincoln penny. And if you ever find one, your life could change forever. Now, before we dive into what makes it so special, let's paint the picture. Imagine the Denver Mint in 1969, machines pounding, thousands of coins every minute, molten metal flashing, and die makers inspecting each steel die under fluorescent light. One of those dies, just one, slipped through the cracks. It wasn't destroyed, it wasn't caught. Instead, it was used to strike thousands of pennies with a doubled design, a doubling so sharp that the letters Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1969 appear as if ghosted by a second image. Many of those coins were melted down, lost, or spent decades buried in jars, drawers, and piggy banks across America. And one of them could be sitting right in front of you. If you look at the obverse, that's the front side of your penny, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait. Focus on the words, In God We Trust. On the rare doubled die, you'll see clear, strong doubling. Not a blur, not a trick of light. Real, split letters. Check, Liberty. Each letter looks shadowed, doubled, like it's echoing itself. Then move to the date, 1969. The numbers seem to vibrate, as if stamped twice. That's your signal. And the mint mark, that tiny D under the date. Here's what makes this story fascinating. For years, experts argued whether a 1969 D-double die even existed. The 1969 S-double die from San Francisco was confirmed, worth hundreds of thousands. But the Denver version? That's where the mystery deepens. Because a small number of coins believed to be from Denver were rumored to show similar doubling, leading collectors to whisper, speculate, and hunt relentlessly. Imagine being one of them, flipping through piles of old pennies, your fingers stained with copper, your eyes tired but burning with hope. Every coin, a heartbeat. Every date, a possibility. And then, that one moment when you tilted under the light and see the letters double. Perfect, crisp, unmistakable. Your pulse quickens. You realize you might be holding a coin worth $1 million. Think about that. A penny that can pay off your house, change your life, rewrite your future. Not because it's made of gold, but because of a tiny imperfection. It's poetic, really. The smallest flaw creating the greatest fortune. Well, most people don't look. They see a penny and think it's worthless. But collectors, true collectors, know that every coin has a story. They know that history hides in the smallest details. The alignment of letters, the angle of a mint mark, the way light catches a curve. Every few years, someone finds another one. A garage sale, a coin roll hunt, a dusty attic box. One lucky collector found a 1969 double die penny, verified by experts, and sold it for over $1.8 million. That's right, one penny, one discovery, one life forever changed. But before you get lost in the dream, remember this. The 1969 D version is incredibly scarce, possibly unique, and the known double die from that year is the 1969 S. That means the Denver Mint coin is the mystery, the ghost story of the numismatic world. Some experts believe a few might exist, hidden in old change, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a steady hand to uncover them. Maybe that someone is you.S. Oh, let's talk details. When you're searching your change, separate every penny from 1969. Under bright light or magnification, check the inscriptions first. If you see light, blurry doubling, it's likely machine doubling, common and worthless. But if you see crisp, clear, strong doubled letters, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust, stop everything. That's the sign. Then, check the mint mark. If it's AD, your heart should start pounding. You might be staring at one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in U.S. history. Collectors and dealers often say, light is your best tool. Tilt the coin, study the reflection, look for separation lines in the letters. Use a 10x magnifier. Photograph it. Compare it to verified images online from PCGS or NGC. If it matches, contact a grading service immediately. A coin like that needs authentication. Because if it's real, if it's genuine, it's not just worth money. It's worth $1 million. Now, imagine the feeling. Sending that penny off, waiting for the results. Days turn into weeks. You can't sleep. Every time the phone rings, your heart races. Then the email comes. Congratulations, your coin has been verified. You sit there, staring, trying to process that a penny from your childhood drawer just made you a millionaire. That's what makes this hobby so extraordinary. It's not just about coins, it's about the hunt, the mystery, the moment of discovery. Every collector dreams of finding that one life-changing piece, the kind that turns an ordinary day into history. So take this as your call to action. Go through your jars, your old wallets, your father's coin box, your grandmother's keepsakes. Every 1969 penny deserves a second look. Don't dismiss them, examine them. Because you never know when lightning will strike twice, and your luck could be next. For over half a century, stories of rare pennies have inspired generations. Stories of forgotten fortunes rediscovered, of humble beginnings turned into legacies. And in the heart of it all lies the simple truth. Even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Every penny tells a story. Every collector writes one. And maybe, just maybe, yours begins today with one 1969 D. Lincoln penny that could change everything. Imagine this, a tiny copper coin, something you've seen thousands of times, something you might even step over on a sidewalk, turns out to be worth over $1 million. That's not a rumor. It's not a myth. It's real. And it's happening right now with the 2019 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Most people have no idea that a modern penny could ever reach such value. They assume the old ones, the wheat backs, the steel cents, the ones from the early 1900s, are where the fortune lies. But this is a story about a modern coin. A simple 2019 penny that slipped through the cracks of the minting process and became one of the most mysterious treasures in American coin history. It all began in 2019, a year like any other for the U.S. Mint. Billions of Lincoln cents rolled off the presses, each marked with its signature letter, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and none at all for Philadelphia. But then something strange happened. A small batch of 2019 pennies without mint marks began showing unusual traits. Traits so rare, experts questioned whether they were even real. At first, they appeared normal, shiny, copper-plated zinc, Abraham Lincoln facing right. But under magnification, collectors began noticing peculiarities, doubling on the date, raised areas around Lincoln's eye, even subtle distortions in the letters of liberty. A handful of these coins were pulled from circulation, authenticated, and auctioned, and that's when the frenzy began. The first verified 2019 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sold for nearly $100,000. But as word spread, and as experts dug deeper, it became clear only a microscopic number of these coins were ever struck with the same unique die characteristics. Each surviving example became a golden ticket. Some dealers quietly estimate the top specimen could fetch $1 million or more if one ever resurfaces in mint state condition. Imagine that for a second. You're holding a handful of change from a gas station or grocery store. You glance down, ready to toss the pennies aside, and one of them could buy you a house. That's the kind of hidden fortune this 2019 penny represents. Start with the basics. Flip the coin. On the obverse, that's the front. Check the date, 2019. There should be no mint mark under the year. That alone means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. Now, under good lighting, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at Lincoln's eye, the letters "In God We Trust," and the 2019. On the rarest examples, you'll see a slight doubling, as if the design was struck twice, barely misaligned. It's subtle but unmistakable once you see it. Next, check the reverse, the Union Shield design. Pay attention to the fine lines on the shield itself. On the valuable versions, the lines appear slightly thicker or doubled, particularly near the upper edges. Some examples also show light die cracks near the word 1 cent, tiny raised lines of metal that look almost like scars. And then, Look at the luster. The most valuable specimens have what experts call proof-like surfaces, unusually reflective, even though they were struck for circulation. It's as if the coin was meant to stand out, to be noticed by the few who cared enough to look. Every coin tells a story, and this one story is almost poetic. How could a 1-cent piece, mass-produced in the billions, become a symbol of hidden wealth and destiny? It's because rarity doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Now picture this. It's late at night. A collector sits under a lamp with a pile of change. One by one, they check each penny, their heart racing every time they spot that 2019 date. It's a quiet obsession, the hope that one coin could change everything. Some call it luck, others call it destiny. But deep down, it's about curiosity, the desire to find something extraordinary in the ordinary. 2 years after their discovery, a few of these mysterious 2019 pennies resurfaced, each time selling higher than the last. And yet, experts believe dozens, maybe even hundreds, are still out there, hiding in drawers, jars, and pockets. Think about it. In a world where everything seems predictable, one coin worth $1 million still roams free among us. Collectors describe finding one as electric, that moment when time stops, when a faint shimmer catches the light just right. It's not just money. It's proof that hidden treasures still exist in everyday life. Some counterfeiters have tried to mimic these coins, but experts can always tell. The real 2019 no-mint mark errors have a distinct texture. The metal flow around Lincoln's bust, the precise spacing of the lettering, and a slight ridge that forms naturally during a double strike. That's why if you ever suspect you've found one, get it authenticated by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification could be the difference between pocket change and $1 million payday. But beyond the value, there's something deeply human about this story. For many collectors, it's not just about wealth, it's about wonder. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the spark of discovery that connects us to generations past. Every coin has passed through hands, through lives, through moments of history. To hold one that defied the odds is to hold a piece of fate itself. Every so often, a story emerges of someone cleaning out an old coffee can or coin jar and realizing what they've been sitting on. A simple penny that becomes a key to a new life, a home paid off, a debt erased, a dream funded. It's the kind of miracle that reminds us why we look closer, why we pay attention, and maybe that's the real lesson of the 2019 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's not just about luck. It's about awareness, the ability to see value where others see none. It's about patience, curiosity, and the courage to believe that fortune can appear in the most unexpected places. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't just glance over your change. Take a second look. Turn that penny in your hand. Let the light hit it just right. Because somewhere out there, one coin, maybe in your possession right now, holds the power to rewrite your story. The 2019 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has already changed lives, and it's still out there waiting to be found. $1 million treasure disguised as pocket change. Imagine a coin worth over $1 million hiding in plain sight. A simple 1994 Lincoln penny that looks just like the ones in your change jar. You might have held it in your hand, spent it at a gas station, or dropped it in a tip jar without realizing what you had. Because this coin doesn't sparkle, it doesn't shine with gold or silver. It hides its value behind ordinary copper. But for those who know what to look for, it's one of the most shocking discoveries in American coin history. It all began in 1994, a year when millions of Lincoln pennies were minted across the country, in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But one particular coin, struck without a mint mark, changed everything. No one noticed it at first. It blended in with billions of others. But buried within that sea of copper-plated zinc was a mistake, a tiny, perfect error that turned a single penny into $1 million treasure. Imagine the suspense of finding one. You're sifting through your old change, a handful of pennies from decades past. They clink together softly, dull and ordinary. Then you spot it, a 1994 penny with no mint mark below the date. Your pulse quickens. Could it be? You grab a magnifying glass, your heart pounding. And there it is, that faint detail, or rather, the lack of it. No D, no S, just a smooth space under the date. It's not just any penny. It's the one everyone's been searching for, The mystery of this coin lies in a simple oversight at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1994, mint marks were hand-punched on the dies that struck the coins. Every mint had its own mark: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and none for Philadelphia. But a rare batch was struck under unusual conditions. Some of these coins were produced from test dies, others from transitional errors where the mint mark was accidentally omitted. What makes these coins valuable isn't just the lack of a mint mark. It's the combination of a flawless strike, perfect copper color, and pristine condition. As collectors began to notice, the legend of the 1994 no mint mark penny grew. Coin shows buzzed with rumors. Dealers whispered about secret finds. A few lucky individuals claimed to have pulled one straight from circulation. For them, that single penny turned into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth over $1 million. The idea that something so small, so ordinary, could hold such extraordinary value inspired thousands of treasure hunters to start checking their pocket change. Now imagine yourself in that position. You pour out an old jar of coins, a mix of memories and metal, some from childhood, others from forgotten moments. Among them, a single penny catches your eye. You flip it over and see Lincoln's familiar face, calm and thoughtful, just as he's been since 1909. The year reads 1994. You hold your breath and look just beneath the date. There's nothing there. No mint mark. Just smooth copper. Your hands tremble. This could be it. The penny worth over $1 million. But before you get too excited, you need to know how to tell if it's the real thing. The first step is condition. The most valuable examples are in mint state, meaning they've never been circulated. No scratches, no wear. The surface should be glossy, reflecting light evenly. Next, check the weight. A genuine 1994 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if yours weighs closer to 3.1 grams, you may have an even rarer transitional error struck on a copper planchet, the kind used before 1982. That mistake alone could skyrocket its value into the hundreds of thousands. Look closely at the edges. They should be smooth, not sharp or recut. Examine Lincoln's coat and hair details under magnification. They should be crisp, showing every strand and fold. And finally, if you have a 1994 penny without a mint mark, consider professional grading. The top-tier grading companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and certify it. If it's real, that small piece of copper could change your life. Every minute you spend learning about coins brings you closer to a discovery. There's something magical about the idea that a single penny can hold history, luck, and wealth all at once. It's not just metal. It's a key to a hidden world. People have found these treasures in drawers, in old jars, even in their children's piggy banks. They were forgotten for decades until someone with the right knowledge finally looked closely enough. Millions of 1994 pennies were minted, but only a handful have been confirmed as true no-mint mark rarities. And among those, only a few have the flawless quality that drives collectors wild. One of these coins fetched over $1 million at auction, a simple penny that became a life-changing fortune. Imagine paying for coffee with $1 million penny. Imagine giving away a fortune without even realizing it. It sounds impossible, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth $1 million. So take a moment. Go through your change. Pull out every 1994 penny you can find. Turn them over one by one. Look for that missing mint mark. Examine every detail. Because once in a while, lightning strikes, and it strikes quietly, in copper and zinc. There's something poetic about how this works. The rarest treasures don't announce themselves. They hide in the ordinary, waiting for eyes that can see. And maybe, just maybe, those eyes belong to you. Collectors spend lifetimes chasing moments like this. They study minting errors, die varieties, and patterns, all for the chance to find one coin that defies the odds. When that coin finally appears, it's more than just money. It's proof that patience, curiosity, and knowledge can transform the smallest object into something extraordinary. So don't underestimate that pile of old pennies. Don't dismiss the ones with scratches or dull surfaces. Look deeper, because among them might be the coin that rewrites your future. A coin born from a minting error, lost to time, and now waiting for rediscovery. And when you find it, if you find it, that moment will be electric. The world will seem to pause. You'll realize that this small, copper-colored circle connects you to over a century of American history, to the hands that struck it, and to the collectors who dream of it. The 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of change. It's a mystery, a story, and a symbol of hope. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding right in front of us. We just need to look closer. Imagine this. You're at the grocery store, and the cashier slides a few pennies across the counter. You barely glance at them. Just some change, right? But what if I told you that one of those little copper-colored coins could be worth over $1 million? That's not a fantasy. It's real. And it could be sitting right there, in your hand. Right now, there's one specific coin that's been sending shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. It's not old. It's not ancient. It's not from some forgotten era. It's a 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. The kind of coin you've seen thousands of times before. But this one, this rare version, hides a mystery that could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. Now, before we dive into what makes it special, let me take you back for a moment. The year is 2015. The U.S. Mint is producing billions of Lincoln cents. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, coins are rolling off the presses faster than ever. But something strange happens. Somewhere in the chaos of production, a handful of coins slip through that defy all logic. They look normal, but they're not. These pennies, missing their mint mark, hold an error so rare, so subtle, that only the most observant eyes can see it. Most collectors don't even know what to look for. They'll toss it aside, thinking it's just another cent. But the truth is, a few of these 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies have been found to possess features so unusual that they've stunned grading experts. We're talking die misalignments, doubled features on Lincoln's bust, even planchet irregularities that make each one unique, a 1 in a billion anomaly. And when rarity meets demand, you get value that defies belief that a single coin like this, authenticated and verified, could sell for over $1 million at auction. Imagine that moment. You walk into an appraisal shop with a penny you found in your change. The expert squints under magnification. His hands start to tremble. He looks up at you and says, "Do you have any idea what you're holding? That's not just metal in your hand. That's history. That's luck. That's destiny." The most valuable discoveries are often the ones hiding in plain sight. The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny looks exactly like the others, but it's what lies beneath the surface that matters. So how do you spot it? How can you tell if the penny in your drawer could make you a millionaire? Here's what you need to look for. First, turn the coin under a bright light. Look carefully at Lincoln's profile, his face, his beard, his ear. If you notice a doubling of the image, a faint shadow or repeat line, that's called a doubled die. It's one of the most valuable types of mint errors in existence. Some 2015 pennies have shown this effect, and collectors pay staggering sums for them. Next, check the rim. A slightly off-center strike, where the edge looks thicker on one side, can indicate a misalignment during minting. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin. And if it's paired with the missing mint mark, you could be holding a once-in-a-lifetime find. Now, let's pause for a second. Think about what this means. Millions of people handle pennies every day, completely unaware that a fortune could be hiding among them. It's almost poetic, a symbol of how ordinary things can hold extraordinary secrets. A small, overlooked coin carrying the power to change someone's life forever. Collectors who found these rare varieties often describe the same feeling: disbelief, excitement, and a rush of emotion that words can't capture. They spend years searching, and then suddenly, it's there. The right color, the right year, the right details. That's when the heart starts racing. But the key is knowledge. If you don't know what to look for, you'll never see it. The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might seem like a simple mistake, but it's more than that. It's a reminder that perfection isn't always what holds the most value. Sometimes, it's the flaws that make something priceless. Let's reset for a moment. Imagine again the sound of coins clinking in your pocket. You reach in and pull one out. 2015, no mint mark under the date. You turn it under the light, and suddenly, you notice something off. A faint doubling, a strange luster, a misaligned rim. Your pulse quickens. It's happened before. Ordinary Americans, discovering a coin worth more than their house, more than their savings, more than they ever dreamed possible. And it always starts the same way, with curiosity, with someone who takes a second look instead of dismissing what they have. Experts say the rarest 2015 pennies show characteristics linked to test strikes, transitional planchets, or early dye states that never should have made it to circulation. Some theorize they were part of a secret batch used for calibrating mint machinery. Others believe they slipped through during a production error in Philadelphia, where coins traditionally lack a mint mark. But these anomalies have characteristics so distinct that they don't match any normal Philadelphia strike. That's where the legend begins. The story of a few pennies that shouldn't exist. Coins that challenge everything we think we know about modern minting. And the people who find them, they become part of numismatic history. Picture yourself holding that penny. The surface gleams under a magnifying glass. You trace your thumb over the date, 2015. You turn it over, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse shines back at you. Perfect condition. Maybe a bit of red luster left. You send it off to a grading company, and weeks later, you get the call. It's authentic. That one moment changes everything. What was once worth 1 cent is now insured for over $1 million. You're invited to coin shows, interviews, magazine features. Collectors all over the world want to see your penny because you found what everyone else overlooked. Anyone could find it. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a professional numismatist. All you need is curiosity, a keen eye, and the belief that treasure can still exist in everyday life. Every time you get change, at the store, at the gas station, even in a vending machine, that's a new chance. Somewhere out there, in circulation, a few 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies are still hiding, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for you. Take another deep breath. Think about the sound of a coin rolling across a countertop. Think about the millions of hands it's passed through. And think about how, with one glance, one moment of attention, you could uncover something worth over $1 million.